Hey everybody, it's your girl Nisha, aka Nisha the Voice, coming in for another edition of Industry Conversations 101. Again, you all, it is another Thursday night here in Industry Conversations 101. Tonight, my special guest is none other than Nutta Butta that will be in the building with me tonight. I'm so excited of speaking with Nutta Butta because this was, during a time that music was at its all-time high. We had very good music going on at that time, and he's probably one of the dopest lyricists. And I really want to have you all listen to what he's got going on, just as well as some of the things that he has overcome in this industry as well. That's what we do here at Industry Conversations 101. We talk about things in the industry and also give you the game and also speak to some talented artists that have also been through this industry and could also shed some jewels as well. And again, we always give y'all the best entertainment news. It seems like we still are going through this turmoil with the Grammys. That's another thing we're going to talk about tonight too. About hip hop turns 50 this year, so there's a lot of different things that happen at the Grammys, especially the hip hop tribute. I don't think the tribute got its just due, and there were a lot of people missing out of that tribute. And a lot of people that I would have liked to see, like Dougie Fresh, Big Daddy Kane, MC Light, Roxanne Shante, like a lot of those lyricists were missing. So we don't know what happened behind the scenes. I know Questlove was the one who actually orchestrated that, but I wonder what was the thought process and actually gathering all of those lyricists together. Was it more so of the fact of who was popular or who records were like number one? I want to know, because at the end of the day, like for us who do appreciate hip hop, we wanted to see more people than what we saw on the Grammys. And I think that's a discussion that, definitely that is needed, because even though LL kind of sweetened the pot a little bit when he said, there will be something done at a later date. Well, they did the same thing with Prince, if you know that when Prince passed away in 2016, they did like this half-ass performance, and then they went on to do a tribute show, which had a lot of artists and people that, me being a huge Prince fan, you should be singing a Prince song, okay? And I think at the end of the day, like they come up with these different types of shows, and they have these individuals singing these songs who don't really bring the song to life. I think that's the whole point of being a musician, of storytelling, and actually being able to bring your poetry to life. So there was a lot of different things I think that goes on with the Grammys, the Academy within itself, that where it just don't give its just due, especially to our genres of music, hip hop, R&B. For those that don't know the history, like our categories used to be like tough. So to see that it is just getting to a point now where a lot of African American people are being recognized, I think that's a huge step in the right direction. But y'all, when we're doing tributes, y'all need to follow BET. Get the greats up on the the platform, and actually you know performing and stuff that we want to see. I really want to see what the views look like for the Grammys as well. You know, but that's pretty much what's going on in entertainment news. We're going to bring Nutta Butter into the room. How are you?
Hey, how are you? How's everything, sis? How's everything?
Good, good. It's first and foremost, it's a pleasure to finally meet you.
My pleasure.
Now look, I'm about to tell my age, but I remember seeing you for the very first time on the Freak Out video with
Wow.
Queen Pen and Teddy Riley. Okay, when I used to watch this video, I was like, "Yo, who is this dude? Who is this dude?" And I would see you with shades. There was another video that I saw you on as well, with Hard to Handle.
Wow, David Miller, you did your research. Wow.
Yeah, yeah.
You,
So
oh my goodness, you are a true hip hop historian. You did your research. Oh my goodness. you dug in the crates for that one.
Yeah, yeah. So, I guess you being from the Bronx and later moved to Harlem, let's just talk about how did that define your style as a lyricist?
Wow. First of all, that's a great question. That's a great question. Being born in the Bronx is very very important because um, hip hop was just being introduced when I was a young man, and so I had the opportunity when I lived in the Bronx to go. When we were younger, they called them going outside to jams. So they would bring the music and the equipment outside, and you would see the older guys. They would just be doing this new incredible thing that you never saw before. It was just this amazing thing that brought people from all over neighborhoods that probably had trouble before, but they would come to this one common place, and you would see so many things. I was about maybe 7 or 10, between somewhere in there, and it was just a fascinating thing, and to just behold, as a kid, it's like, oh my gosh, to see this sort of thing. And then hip hop was correlated with graffiti and breakdancing and all those other things. So it was a
Yeah,
whole art. You know what I mean? Like you see the Ushers and the Chris Browns and all of the stuff that you see, but
right.
that was 45 years ago. And you had crews who would dance and do those things. So the Bronx was the foundation and the core for me in the introduction to hip hop. But what Harlem was, I have to smile when I say Harlem. I mean Harlem. Harlem was. I'm sorry, I get a little emotional when I think about what Harlem was. I think Harlem, for one, changed the trajectory of my life.
Mm,
The Bronx was very different. When I came to Harlem, I normally equate it to the Fresh Prince of Bel Air. When he goes to Bel Air, and he's like, Harlem was this beautiful red carpet. Seventh Avenue, Eighth Avenue, Lenox Avenue was just. It had so much style. It had so much flair. I had never seen anything like that. It was like Hollywood in New York City. And the first hip hop record that I heard in Harlem, because there was a lot going on. I moved in Harlem in '82. I think it was '82, the summer of '82. I think it was summer of '82. And hip hop. It was just crazy. But I think the first record I heard in Harlem that I can remember that impacted me was probably either Roxanne or Sucker MCs. It was one of them. Like it was like, oh my gosh, you know what I mean? And the style, Harlem style, the way they dressed, talked, it was just so different, and from what I was used to in the Bronx. And I knew that when I got here, that I probably didn't want to move back to the Bronx. It's no slight against the Bronx because that's where many of my family and friends and loved ones came from the Bronx, and the Bronx was a lot for me. I learned how to play basketball there, baseball, all of the all the foundational things that I learned came from the Bronx.
Yeah, yeah. And I mean, I can tell because I knew like during that time you had Mace, you had oh my God, that was just a good time for music. You had Mace, you had Queen Pin, you had so many, individuals that were doing things. Like this is where you saw a lot of collabos with lyricists in R&B. Like you made feel good music that where you could actually dance in the club. You know what I'm saying? It's
Well,
like
well, oh, I'm so sorry. I'm
no,
so
no,
sorry.
no, no. Go ahead, go ahead.
Well. So uh, I would be amiss if I didn't share this in the correct form. So where I moved was important too. I
Mm-hmm.
moved to St. Nicholas Projects. It's on 129th Street between 7th and 8th Avenue. Why that's so important is because St. Nicholas Projects was 4 blocks away from the Apollo Theater. Why is that important?
Wow.
Because you had the opportunity to see every and anybody that was coming in. Then
Yeah.
it's 4 blocks away from which is the Harlem State Office Building, where you had, excuse me, I apologize. We had Harlem Week. We had a real week where everything was blocked off, the streets were blocked off, and all of the stars who was somebody came to the Harlem State Office building in the summertime to perform in front of this willing crowd. You know what I mean? With music. So I also have to share this because this is important to share this is that Teddy Riley, who is the father of New Jack Swing, is lived in St. Nicholas Projects.
Yes.
Rex and Effect, Arkell Davidson and Markel Riley, right? The super group who made Rump Shake and all those things,
Yes. Yes.
right in St. Nicholas Projects, right? It's a group called the Super Three. They were like hip hop guys. There was a guy named Pinelli and the P Brothers. Barry B, who was the DJ for Dougie Fresh, was a couple of blocks down. Dougie Fresh lived a couple of blocks that way. Cool Mo D and all those guys from the Wild Wild West lived up on the hill. The Fearless Four lived about maybe 6 or 7 blocks, long blocks. But so I'm literally surrounded and engulfed with pioneers from hip hop,
Right. Exactly.
pioneers from R&B. You know what I mean? So
Yes.
where I moved to was critical. So I was like catapulted into this. Like it was saturated with all of this.
Yes, 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 and you're absolutely right. Like New Jack Swing did a lot for R&B, and even I can incorporate it into hip hop as well because I think for some of us we really didn't know what New Jack Swing was until we actually start hearing guys, the girls. We also started seeing it in New Jack City. So that's where a lot of some of the music that where we really got to hear it. And now as on Instagram you're starting to hear more about the New Jack Swing era. And that's a good segue into going in your working with Teddy Riley. How was that relationship? Because Teddy was, oh my God, during that time Teddy was in some of everything. Teddy producing, Teddy was in a super group, Teddy was bringing out artists. And I was just like, dang, does this man ever sleep? Like, what is going on? So,
Well,
like, tell us what what it was like working with Teddy.
well, well. Excuse me. I'm sorry. To work with Ted, wow. It, I think the word phenomenal comes into play. I think words like genius, comes to mind. Um, but I have to kind of pivot a little bit and say Arkell, who is in the group Rex and Effect, was parallel. Well, we won't say parallel, but he was a musical genius and a lyrical genius also. So he was like my brother. You know what I mean?
Right.
Well, he's like my brother now. But I'm just saying, like, I'm a little older than him, but he was like my brother. But he was my big brother in music. He was already into the music or whatever. So he helped to shape and to mold me and to introduce me this raw talent that I had, this raw uh, 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 passion for writing. He helped me to be prepared to go before Ted. So you don't just walk before the great. You don't just walk before the great Teddy Riley. And to be honest with you, if since we being real and being transparent, sister, I never wrote a lyric in my life for anybody. I just hustled my way into the music. I mean, Harlem is for hustlers. I used to see Teddy's brother Markel. I used to tell him, "Yo, fam, I wrote this rhyme for you. I'm telling you, you need to hear it. You need to hear it. You need to hear it." I never wrote any rhymes for anybody, but I knew what they were doing. I wanted to be a part of it. Those guys
Yeah.
they were doing it. You know what I mean? And I wanted to be a part of that. So I got an opportunity. They gave me a call. I got an opportunity, and I went down there. Working with Ted wasn't easy because Ted is he's a perfectionist on the low. You know what I mean? And you got to be, really, really real and ready. Some people don't know this, but Arkell wrote about 9 different versions to Rex. To Rump Shaker before you had heard that piece right there that you hear there. It was like 9 different versions. My rhyme on Party Ain't a Party. I in my mind, I believe I had the best rhyme that I ever wrote before the rhyme that you heard, and he told me do it over. I hate this. I hate this rhyme. I was like, I was distraught. I was distraught. I'm like, are you kidding me? I was frustrated. I was angry. But he knew what the record needed. He knew what the record needed, and the genius with working with him is that you want to give him what he wants, but you still want to make sure you still have that thing, you know, your true essence of who you are. So it makes that a little harder, you know, and coming from uh, this musical side, you know, it's like having a big brother who just knows, and you fighting to be yourself, and he's telling you, nah, do it this way.
Right.
I'm telling you, nah, do it this way. I'm telling you. And so you buck against that sometime, and you want to do it your own way. So it was it was a great opportunity, great times, but it was also a time where you just say like, nah, I'm doing it my way, you know. So that thing. So I hope I didn't go too
Oh, no,
go.
no, 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 no. And I mean, and honestly, it's that's a good perspective, because that's a lot what we talk about here in industry conversations. Because a lot of people don't understand, like, when you're working with musical greats, it's not the easiest thing, because you when they hear something, it's like they want you to do it, but you also have a way, your own way of where you want to do things. And then you get to the point where you just like, look, I don't want to do it like this. I want to do it me, because this is my authentic self. So it's like you're playing tug of war with them, and even though you're appreciative of the opportunity, it's more like you got to do you know, in
You
a
you
sense.
you know that brings me to a point. I never shared this with anyone else. I don't believe I did, so I'll share it on your show. The song "Don't Leave," like I was supposed to be on that song. Dun, 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 dun.
Yeah,
I was supposed to rhyme on that song. Blackstreet song. It was actually that's one of their biggest songs.
biggest one.
I was supposed to rhyme on that song. Teddy says to me, "Yo, I want you to rhyme on that song." I heard "No Diggity." I heard it when in its rawest form.
Hmm.
Boom, 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 boom. I mean, I heard it in its rawest form. I'm like, yo, what's that? It was a guy named Will, rest his soul. Will Spring. He made that beat, and I had heard. I said, yo, what's that? He said that's for Blackstreet. So what I was doing in my mind, I was stalling to be on No Diggity, but I never said, yo, Ted, I want to be on No Diggity. He said, I want you to be on Don't Leave. I said, man, it don't even need no rap. That song don't deserve it. That song don't need no rap. You know, rebelling. You know what I mean? You know, just because I wanted to be on No Diggity. So unbeknownst to me, he took offense to it. So I didn't get a chance to do Don't Leave. You
Oh,
know, do Don't Leave. Album sells 6 million records.
right,
I think
right,
it's like 9 right now.
right.
6 million records. I missed out on a great opportunity. And then the terrible part is Don't Leave comes out. It's one of their biggest records. And right after that, Tupac releases I Ain't Mad at You with the same dun, 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 dun,
Yep.
dun. So he's looking at me. We in the studio, not in this, well, we're in this, it's like a game room portion, and we're watching videos, and he look at me, and I just had this like, yeah, I messed up. So, you
Yeah.
know, sometimes you have to have a strong balance and understand it's okay to want to be your own self and who you are, but you kind of use the platform to do
Hmm.
what you do, but also be very active with doing collaborations outside of your camp. You know,
Yeah.
that's where the longevity is at. That's where the life is at. That's where you get a chance to differentiate yourself, you know, and separate yourself from just your camp.
Right. 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 So let's fast forward to now. Now it's moving into Mellow Chase.
So you know, I did a lot of stuff as not a brother. I really did. I did a lot of stuff. You know, Janet Jackson, Will Smith, Rex and Effect, Queen Pen, Blackstreet, uh, MC Hammer, Shades, Metavision,
Hmm.
um, 702, David Miller. You know, I did a lot of stuff,
Yes.
and you know, you kind of I did a lot of stuff, but I didn't do that individual thing that I wanted to do. And
Hmm.
I just decided that I wanted to move away from being Netta Butter and be Milu Chase. So Milu Chase is really interesting. How did I come with Milu Chase? Well,
Yes.
Milu is really interesting. I'm going to give you guys my government name. I'll just give it all to you. So my real name is my first name is Minton. My middle name is Lewis. So I took the M-E from Minton, me, and the Lew, Lewis, and I merged the two. So that's how you got the me. Um,
Really? Okay.
the chase was it was something that I kind of put together. I was, just playing with last, names, you know what I mean? So, but I came up with Chase. It just felt like a perfect marriage. I loved it, me with Chase. So that's what I decided I would do. Currently working on an EP right now. Working on an EP. I love music, and I believe that you should not only reinvent yourself, but speak to where you are in music. Where you are. Speak to the generation of people that you represent. And sometimes we miss that. I'm going to even say something that's even really weird. I'm going to drop a weird plug for some folks. Any producers or anybody out there, guys, make some kid-friendly music. I have I'm older right now, so I have a grandson. My grandson listens. My grandson's 9. He listens to artists who are 24, 20. Why? No, there's nobody out there for him to listen to. Please, please. I mean, when I was younger, we had kid groups. We had people to love and to identify with. God,
Yeah.
I'm sorry. I just felt compelled to share that. It's okay. It's okay. Bring up somebody, mentor them, show them the ropes. You know what I'm saying? Build a real artist from the ground up, help them out. Work with them. It's a beautiful thing. It's beautiful.
Yeah, I definitely agree, and that was going to be my next question as to where you are right now in music, because you're absolutely right. There's a lot of stuff that we hear right now on the radio that is not kid friendly. And you always have to have two different versions. You always gotta have, the explicit version, and then you gotta have the clean version, because a lot of the radio stations are not playing these obscenities anymore. And it's again, this has been since the 80s of trying to, ban music that has a lot of profanity in it, a lot of sexual explicit lyrics. But the point is like you said, you don't have a lot of things for the children to listen to, because the children are now going out and doing what the music now says.
Yeah.
Um, you know, and it's bad. It's bad now than it was when we were growing up.
Well, it's very unfortunate because, and it's not, we don't blame artists. We don't want artists to censor themselves. Of course not. But we want the we want the kids to be able to listen to age appropriate music. I think that's
Hmm.
the way to go, right? Age appropriate. So I mean, it's the internet and a lot of things just kind of shoots things to the young people in their brains. They're not fully developed for the information that they take in. And once you
Right.
take it in, you can't untake it. You know what I mean? Once you see something, you can't unsee it. So I just pray that the artists will continue to be raw in the art form, but more importantly, that we bring little kids out, little kids who listen. New Edition was great. Michael Jackson was awesome from you when I was a kid. We
Yeah.
had oh man, I can go on. I just think about you had Stacy Lattice. So I mean, people were like my age that I was listening to. You had the boy bands they were doing their things. You had the female artists. Janet Jackson, and I mean, even as far back, go back to the Silvers, and you know what I mean. Like
Yeah.
it just we all need music that speaks to where we are. No
Right.
matter what age you are. I don't like to say young or old, but wherever you are in life, you want to have the art speak to the things that you're going through, and that's really the truth. Because everybody ain't balling. You know what I mean? Everybody
Right.
ain't getting it. Everybody
Right.
ain't lit. Everybody ain't coming outside. You know what I mean? I'm just being real. You know what I mean? Everybody ain't
Right.
everywhere. You know what I mean?
Right.
There's some real things. I mean, I think uh, some of the artists, like sometimes when you hear Jay talk and he talks a little grown, he talk about credit, he talk about buying paintings and all that, and we like, man, Jay, he to the far left. No, you got to get right. You get right, you'll understand it. Speak to where you are. Speak to where you are.
Right. Right. And speaking of that as well, the Grammys. Of course, we know that hip hop turned 50 this year. Of course. So, What was your thoughts on the tribute to hip hop for the Grammys?
Wow. Me honestly, I enjoyed it so much. It took me through so many, like, whoa, wow, it was amazing. seeing Ash and then seeing L and looking at Method Man and watching Ice-T and seeing Queen Latifah and Salt and Pepper, and I was just like, man, this is amazing. What I did understand is that there is a time and a place for all things, right?
Mhm.
And so that's like having a hip hop award show, and then someone in country music is upset because we had a little segment. There's no way that you and I can talk about 50 years of hip hop right now.
Right.
So so for them, some people are going to be missed.
Yep.
But the idea is to understand that the Grammys understands that hip hop should be acknowledged for something that was supposed to be a fad, something that was supposed to be passing, and we
Right.
gave you an opportunity to visually say, "Whoa, look how far this thing came."
Mm-hmm.
And the truth of the matter, instead of, and I'm giving another alternative. I'm not saying, instead of us saying, well, hey, they should have done this. What is our responsibility of where the culture is going? It's not up for the Grammys to acknowledge us. They gave us an opportunity, but where are we as far as the culture? What are we doing with the culture? Are we dropping the ball? Are we, you know what I mean? Like, are we really honing and holding on to this thing that we call hip hop? Because so many people have capitalized off of hip hop outside of our culture, and that's just the fact. So there's more things to talk about, than just the idea of, well, I got a question for you. Why so and so wasn't there?
Right.
Matter of fact, Questlove, who we all understand his love for hip hop, his love for music, his commitment to the, to the culture. I'm not prepared to question anything. I'm just here. I'm going to enjoy it. It was amazing. I know I wasn't there. I wasn't there. I wasn't even in the audience. So and I can tell you this: every artist that was there, they were there, and they were happy and honored to be in the number being there.
Oh, of course.
Because I'm thinking like they had about 32 seconds, maybe if that much. I realized that with Method Man, he was like METHOD, and it was like over. I was like, oh, you know what I mean? So again, it was just this nice, quick picture that was painted of where our culture came from and where it is headed. And I thought that was amazing. True.
Yeah. Yeah, it's a lot of controversy. I was a little bit disappointed because there were some that I wanted to see. And I know, like LL, like I said, when he first came out, like he kind of sweetened the pot a little bit. He was like, "It's gonna be something done at a later date." And I guess I was having this discussion the other day of how they may have done this because at the same time, I felt that for what we got, it was great. But there were some that I know, from other awards ceremonies that we've seen, and never know. We don't know what happened behind the scenes.
I just kind of would say, look at mainstream radio.
Mm-hmm.
Mainstream radio doesn't play all 50 years.
Right. Exactly.
Are we upset with the radio stations? Are we calling and saying, this is ridiculous? I mean, I remember driving sister from New York, and I was driving to North Carolina. And I kid you not, I heard the same song
over and over
from New York on different radio stations, but over and over. And I said, I know all the lyrics. Like I know that. So I only say that to say is that again, it's so much we can dissect.
Yep.
But I would rather stand and celebrate, what I saw, especially understanding that, wow, I'm looking at all of these folks and saying, I'm really like, I remember, you know, I remember when Salt and Pepper came. I
Yeah.
remember when Flash came out. You know what I mean? I remember when
Mhm.
Ice T, you know, did this. I remember when, you know, I remembered all this and to come full circle to this thing because I remembered, you know, when Public Enemy was so controversial. You know what I
Oh
mean?
yeah.
I remember
Oh,
when hip hop was so diverse, you know, where
yeah.
you had, you know, you had from Run DMC, LL, the Public Enemy to, and honestly, I have to be honest, I'm loving the female representation that's starting to emerge in hip hop. Because for a couple of years, it felt like the females didn't have that real solid voice. You know,
No.
hip hop has always had a female voice. It has always, from Angie Stone when she was in with Vanessa
That's
Quincy,
right.
T, and
That's right.
I'm a hip hop head. I'm a hip hop head.
Right.
So you know, so just to see the voices, hip hop has always been a diverse, you know, genre of music. So
Yeah. Yeah. Definitely. And it gives a good segue into what you're wearing. Hood bar you. So tell us about the clothing line because you're not only an artist, you're not only a writer, but you're also a clothing designer. So tell us about Hood Bar You.
wow. So look, at first I was gonna say what this old thing, but you know, but, so wow. This was birthed. Well, first of all, the attire is called Hoodvert. It's called Hoodvert University. So this was birthed paying homage to my grandmother and
Mm,
people who are like my group. And you'll see what I'm saying as I get into it. So, uh, grandma had a surgery. My grandmother had a surgery, and she was. It was just the team of people for her recovery was around her. I was there, standing there, and they didn't look like us. That's all I'll say, right?
okay.
And they were asking my grandmother some questions, and they asked my grandmother the furthest that she completed school. And for the first time in all my years, I saw my grandmother's head drop. It's alarming, but I'm like, okay. And she began to put her hands like this, she put her head down, and she says, well, I didn't finish school like all of you. She said, the highest grade that I completed was the sixth grade. I was appalled at the fact that my grandmother felt that she had to explain anything because my grandmother is great. My grandmother has been responsible for my mother, which was the only child, but my mother was responsible for six of us, who've gone to college, and my kids have graduated summa cum laude, and valedictorians and the whole nine. And grandma has helped to raise kids, her sister's kids, and so on and so forth. And she has been everything with a sixth grade education. I've never heard her talk about her education. So I was saying, wow, there's things that we do that's outside of traditional academics. You know what I
Mm-hmm.
mean? When
Mm-hmm.
like you're in the kitchen and your mom is teaching you how to fry that chicken, you're not
Yeah.
doing it in a cookbook. You know what I mean? When my
Right.
mom, when my mom, my family was giving me instructions for life as I was going to school, and she was lifting her finger and taking that coal out of my eye. You understand what I'm saying? We wasn't reading any life instruction. You know what I
Mm-hmm.
mean? And so
Right.
I wanted to edify the unconventional teaching. I wanted to edify the traditions that we pass down in cultures and things like that. I wanted to lift it up. So Hoodward
Mm-hmm.
University is paying homage to the unconventional learning and teachings that we have, and to lift it up, and to magnify it and glorify it and say, listen, I don't have to go to Harvard. I went to Hoodward. It's something that I love to say that you can be proud of everywhere. You know what I mean?
Right.
You follow
Every
what I'm saying?
I
So
follow exactly.
it's so much more into Hoodberg, because it also has that fly to it. We got a couple of other pieces that we have. I apologize to you and your beautiful audience because I really wanted to have a whole layout for you today. But the truth of the matter, sister, I was very tired
It's
today. I was
okay.
like, oh my, I was like, man, I'm tired today. It was a today was one of those I'm tired days, and
Yes.
but I wanted to just show all the things. But um, we have a beautiful. We've been out for 3 years now. This is our third year. We are growing. We have been doing such great things that we decided that we were going to revamp some of the things that we were doing. So our spring line is about to be insane, and our summer line is going to be crazy. So it's a unisex line. Um, we have so this is one of our pullovers. So this is our pullover classic. So this is Hoodward Classic. It has the logo on the sleeve here,
Love
as
that.
well as the HU. So this is the HU. It has the Hoodward and it has Avenue Academics. And the reason why we called it Avenue Academics is because we wanted to also edify that if you have street smarts, it's fine. You understand what I'm saying? Street smarts is fine, but we want to have balance. So it's avenue academics. So we're not saying that you should not go to school. We're not saying that you should. We're saying that we want you to have a balance. And we want to edify both.
Gotcha.
And it's
Gotcha.
unisex. It's unisex, by the way. I don't want. It's unisex. So we have our snapback hats. Hold on a second. We have our snapback. We have our snapback hats. So our snapback hats have the HU part of my bald head. It has the HU. It has the logo on the back of the hat as well. We have t-shirts. We have full sweatsuits. We also had excuse me. We have a varsity
Hmm.
sweatsuit that was actually our number one seller. Our varsity sweatsuit is unisex, our number one seller. Yellow, blue, army green, red, royal blue. We sell out of that so much that we couldn't even keep it on the shelf. So I'm like, it was honestly, it was giving me a headache because I was so far behind with keeping up with the inventory of the orders. I had to discontinue it until we can just do some bigger things with manufacturing because
Right.
it was that crazy, like that crazy. So
Wow.
we're at www.hoodvert.com. Once again, that's www.hoodvert.com. So that's HOODVARD.com. We're also on Instagram at Hoodvert University. At Instagram, we're also on Facebook at Hoodvert University Assemblage, right? So that's our clothing. Yeah, so we would like for you to come check us out. Join our mailing list. So if you go there you now, you'll see under construction, and you'll see like you can join our mailing list. And we did that, like I said, we're doing some new releases. So I promise you, our spring and summer line is about to be insane. And thank you so much for asking about it. It means the world to me because uh, 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 um, it's important for us to have our clothes that represents us, and you can put on something that you feel good about it, and still still fly. You know what I mean? You still look good. You just
Right.
kind of I like walking through the airport. And they went to Harvard Hospital. You know what I mean? And I love having conversation about it. I get more conversation about Hoodberg than I get about anything else.
Oh wow. 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 I love that. I love it. And I just love the designs. I love the hats. And I had the opportunity to look at some of the sweatsuits too. Very nice.
Thank you.
Very nice.
Thank you.
Very
Thank you so much. Thank you.
nice.
I have to say this to you. I would be amiss if I didn't say this. You are such a wonderful spirit. Your interviewing is so smooth. I mean, I've been
Thank
on
you.
radio stations, and and this is such a very smooth, very nice interview. You're doing an amazing job. You research. I am so honored to be before you, and I'm very, very thankful. Thank you
Well,
so
thank
much
you.
for having me on your show. And I forgot to say that the album, well, the EP is called Studio 54. That's the name of it.
Studio
Yes, it's Studio
54.
54. Yeah.
Oh, so that is legendary. That is legendary. For those who do not know about Studio 54, you need to do research. Do your research on Studio 54. Yes. I love it. I love it. I love
And
it.
that's why we do. That's why we did that. And that's a small portion of why, because we wanted the controversy of that. We wanted, we wanted to pique the interest. Like, okay, well, what's it about? The Studio 54 was different. You know what I mean?
Oh, it
So,
was. Oh, it
yeah.
was. Yes.
Oh my gosh.
Yes, indeed. Yes, indeed. Yes, indeed. I can't wait to hear the EP. And it is an honor to have you on. And somebody who is very diverse and pretty much have been in the industry a long time. So I am honored to have you here. And it was a pleasure chopping up with you tonight as well. I cannot wait to hear the EP and what you got cooking as well. I can't wait to hear that.
I'm so sorry. I forgot. Well, thank you so much. And what I would like to do is, excuse me, I would like to make sure when we're finished and we reach back out to you, and we'll send some music and stuff to you so you can have it first. And you can, give us your feedback, let us know how you feel about it, and we can let your listeners hear it, and we can,
Yes.
do some big things. I forgot to share my social media page as far as Milu Chase. So I didn't go a little more into Milu Chase. So I just want to share this. So Chase, you can follow me on Instagram, or I don't like to say follow me, join me. I don't like to follow me. Join me on Instagram or join me on Facebook. That's Melew Chase, MELEWCHACE, at Instagram or on Facebook. We also have a really, really, really awesome thing that we're doing. We have a book that we're writing. It's called The Nerd Life of a Cool Kid. So that we're finishing that as well. It's called The Nerd Life of a Cool Kid, and our YouTube channel is about me, Nutta Butter, who switches over to me, Chase, and I just talk about just being a nerd. Like I don't drink, don't smoke, don't curse. And I have such a fabulous life. I realize I'm like a super cool dude. So
Yeah.
it's the nerd life of a cool kid. Come.
I love it. I love it. I love it. You just a renaissance man. You do everything. I love it. I love it. I love it. I love it. And again, thank you so much
Thank you
for
so much.
joining us tonight. And make sure that we do get a copy of that EP so that we can actually do a review and then also invite you back so we can talk more about it.
Thank you so much. I truly appreciate you. Have a beautiful time. Good night. God bless you. Be
Good
safe.
night. Good night. You too. Wow, gotta love him. Gotta love him. Again, that's all we have tonight on Industry Conversations. Shouts out to Nutta Butter, aka Mew Chase. As I stated, everybody, that this is the place here on Industry Conversations where we talk about the industry, we talk about the entertainment news as well, and then also bring y'all the hottest interviews around. So thank you all so much for tuning in to Industry Conversations 101. I'm your girl Nisha, aka Nisha the Voice. Follow me on Nisha the Voice at Nisha the Voice on Instagram and also on Facebook. Also, make sure you all go to our Instagram page, Industry Convo 101. And yeah, click the link in the bio if you would like to be a guest on the show. Thank you all so much for joining us here on Industry Conversations. I'm your girl, Nisha, aka Nisha the Voice. Good night, everybody.